Alrighty then. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hey everyone, Ozo here. Back after beating myself up for not thinking of doing Final Fantasy as Final Fantasy Fridays, but I found a different idea. Fire Emblem Fridays, because I already have more history with that series than I've ever had with Final Fantasy. Does that mean I'm good at it? No, not really. I am the idiot who will try and level up everybody, even though half the members won't make the final team. But that's just how I am sometimes. Anyways, I decided not to do what I did with the other series I've been playing and start with the first game or whatever, because I know from experience that Fire Emblem is a pain in the ass at the start of the series. Even as late as Game 6, depending on who you're talking to. There is some bull that you will deal with if you play Fire Emblem made for Japan before it came to the US. That in mind, I figured instead of starting with the first game, I would start with one of my favorites. And while Three Houses is definitely up there, I can't exactly stream on my Switch. So I decided to start with my favorite of the GBA games, which is Sacred Stones. Now don't get me wrong, I do like the other GBA games. This is just my preferred favorite. Like always, this is with retro achievements. So take that as you will. Let me go ahead and get the list of achievements out for us. 114 achievements worth 1,000 points even. Nice and squeaky clean. For some reason the first message never sends. I don't know why it does that. So I'm doing it like that so anyone who wants to copy it from the YouTube link can, well, from watching on YouTube, can do so. Although Googling it would work just as well. Now then, one thing to note is that while I've bought the American version of this game before, I did have to use the European version, which is why it gives you these language options, because that is the version of the game that Retro Achievements is synced up to, and the only version that will recognize if you're trying to get achievements. So, if you ever want to follow and do this with me, very important thing to know. I'll go ahead and let the opening animation play out. One of the notable things about this game is it's one of the earlier games to have two Lord characters. You saw Ephraim and Erica back there. Brother and sister. As funny as it is to see all those sprites just sliding into place like that, like it's some sort of high-tech PowerPoint, I do miss the stylized 2D that this series has had historically. Which is one of the reasons I do like this game. Got the sound room here. If I need to adjust volume, please let me know, or I can just adjust the volume through my Streamlabs setup. Now then, one thing that makes this game the easiest by far out of the games for newcomers, is that you can level grind in specific towers. The other thing that makes this game easiest out of the 3 GBA games is that it has difficulty modes. You have easy, normal, and difficult. Now, one thing that is important to note is that, to my knowledge, easy and normal do not have any gameplay differences. It is just normal, but you get everything explained to you as you go. Stuff such as the weapon system, the support system, the limited use inventory items, etc. I'm going to do normal because I'd rather explain it all to you myself or answer questions from the chat. Everyone grab your popcorn. It's cutscene time. And this game is far too serious for me to do the Superstar Saga-esque voiceover. Apologies to anyone who would want that. They did the title thing. They did the title thing. I don't know why the frick I do that every time. I think it's a habit I got from my girlfriend. Now for the staple zoom out of the Fire Emblem game map. Continent in this game is called Magville. Be ready to forget where everything is in like 10 minutes, at most. One thing interesting about this game is that the 6th and 7th games, the first two on GBA, are connected. Game 6, Blazing Blade, well, Game 6, Binding Blade, is a sequel to Game 7, Blazing Blade. But this game is separate from those two. It has its own universe. This continent has never been reused in a game since then. Got here Renee. I think that's how it's pronounced. There's no voice acting in this game, so I can't tell you if I'm pronouncing it wrong. What I can tell you is that the king here, Fado, is the father of the two protagonists in this game. The two lords. Or lord and lady, depending on how you prefer to phrase it. So you have Renee, Frelia, Johanna, and Rostin. And then, of course, Grotto, the guy who looks a little less trustworthy than the others. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Subtle title drop there. Each country has one of the stones, as expected. Except Karshino, which is mostly just a trading country. "800 years apiece. It's year 803. Best not to think about the years before 0. Yeah, they don't even try to pretend that this guy isn't evil. they just jump straight into it. You go, spear guys. Go walk across that map. Don't mind royalty just going off wherever the frick he pleases. Stronger enemies. Woo! Such a positive note to start the game on, don't you agree, guys? Bum, bum, bum. As expected, the good ruler tries to set an example for his people. By showing he's not willing to achieve senseless violence and deaths just to try and survive. He'd rather have anyone who can be spared be spared. Now then, here is our first Lord/Lady of the game, Erica, the younger sister of the two. Man's got too much faith in the villain nation. Never have faith in the villain nation in Fire Emblem. Listen, Erica. You're the good protagonist of the game, so I understand why you want to stay behind. But it's a Fire Emblem game. You do not get to stay with your dad. Or any parents, really. I like how, in that scene, it's implied that Seth forces her away. Yet they're both on horses in the scene. So it's like, did he just yank the horse's reins away from her? Or does he just have more control over the horse than her currently riding? Outright. I forgot, there's other little boy here, Franz, I think his name is. She was on his horse. I'm just an idiot who forgets. Seth here is basically saying, hey, sneak around. It'll be easier to stealth your way past them alone. Because he can't go alone, Erica's with him. I don't know, little boy Red. See a girl with the royal blue hair color leaving the royal castle of the royal family that you know has blue hair. What do you think, buddy? Ah, yes, so tactful, you. Say hello to Walter. And Seth. Seth is like the kid's personal knight. Although right now he is guarding Erica. Walter, meanwhile, is one of the highest generals of the Grotto army, which is an invading nation. Hey, Matt. Sick-looking dragon. They are known as wyverns in the Fire Emblem lore. And certain classes do specialize in it. In the GBA games, you typically have to start as a wyvern rider, although there are a few exceptions. In later games on the 3DS and Switch, though, you can choose to make your class into a wyvern rider through promotions and class changes. Oh, yeah. The games on GBA do have a very bright and vivid color scheme. They are always pretty good about that. The Fire Emblem games tend to stick to a very consistent color palette with a couple exceptions. You and your allied units tend to be blue, while the enemy units tend to be red, and NPCs such as villagers or hostages that need to be saved will be in green. There are a few exceptions, such as in the Switch games when there are more than two armies battling, but that tends to be the general rule you can rely on. So, how familiar are you with Fire Emblem games, Matt? Have you ever played one? Have you watched people play them before? Would you like a bit of a rundown? Zero knowledge. That's fair. Yeah, that's valid. They got their little swords behind the name of the game and all that stuff. Fire Emblem is a series that originally started in only Japan. In fact, the first 6 games that came out for Fire Emblem were only officially released in Japan. Although the first 2 games did get re-releases in English on later systems. The first exposure to Fire Emblem the West had was through Smash Bros. Melee, when they released Roy as a playable character, even though he's from a game that is, to this day, still only playable with a Japanese copy. The next game come out, however, Fire Emblem Blazing Blade, or just Fire Emblem in America, was the first one to be released outside of Japan. That was game number 7. This game here, Sacred Stones, is number 8. Well, if you're not counting re-releases, we're up to 16. In America, you have the original game, you have Sacred Swords, which I have right now, you have the Tellius duology, one for GameCube, one for Wii. Those are the games starring Ike. Then you have the 3DS games, such as Fire Emblem Awakening, the one with Robin and Chrom, Fire Emblem Fate, the one with Corrin, split into 3 versions, and then in Switch you have Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which has Byleth, and Fire Emblem Engage, which would not have a Smash Bros. Rep you recognize. Now then, the main thing this series became famous for is 2 things. The first thing is very simple: the weapon triangle. Oh yeah, Ike Amiibos? I have one actually. I have an Ike Amiibo and I have a Robin Amiibo. Now then, we're on our first level here. Let's start by introducing you to the main 2 characters we have right now. By pressing R, you can look at a character's stats. And pressing R again, you can look at their individual stuff, including a small description of the character and an explanation of their class and stats. Lords are the main characters in the game. Usually there's only one, but sometimes in this game, for example, there are 2 or more. If a... Thanks, she does have protagonist hair. If your lord dies, the game ends and you have to restart the chapter. Game over. Do not let the lord die. She is currently carrying on her a vulnerary and a rapier. Rapier? Rapier? I'm always scared of saying the bad word. One thing that's common between lords is that they tend to have effective weaponry as their first item. Something that essentially makes up for their starting stats not being the greatest and allows them to punch through specific units. In Erica's case, you have Rapier, which is strong against cavalry and knights. It has 40 uses, after which it will break, as will most weapons have a limited number of uses, as you can see. And it deals double damage to cavalry and knights, meaning its mount or strength goes from 7 to 14. At the bottom, you can see it has a range of 1, a base 11 attack, minus whatever the enemy's defense is, a 14% chance to crit, lowered by the enemy's luck stat, a 113% chance to hit, minus the enemy's avoid chance, and a 23% chance to avoid her enemy's attacks, subtracted from the enemy's hit chance. Sorry, I know I'm rambling. And then here, you can see how proficient she is at her weapons. If it has a dash through it, it means she cannot learn it. So right now she only has the ability to learn swords, and it starts at the base E class. But it can go up to A. And I believe S in some games. But yeah, Erica is pretty fast for her level, but lacks a bit in strength, which is why she needs that weapon to help give her a bit of a punch. Seth, her bodyguard, is your... Playing Rocket League? Nice. Seth is essentially your early game panic button. Most Fire Emblem games tend to have one. He is already a promoted or evolved unit, depending on how you'd like to phrase it. Essentially meaning he is currently level 21. As you can see, his stats are almost all higher than Erica's, if not a lot more. And he starts with a steel sword and a silver lance, which are much stronger than Erica's starting equipment. His attack's up at 22. And he already has A ranks in swords and lances. In exchange for being your panic button, this guy's growths are shit. He does not get many stat points when he levels up. And he barely gets experience because he's already promoted. Do not use him unless you have to in the early game. Now, let's see how far this guy can go. By pressing A on an enemy, you can check their range and how far they can hit. Yeah, they are pretty cute. I do love their little sprites. So I'm going to do what's essentially known as walling. By giving Erica all of my weapons, Seth cannot eat any of the experience, and he cannot accidentally kill everyone for me. So I'm going to take a moment here to pause to explain what just happened. First thing we need to know is the stat numbers on the screen. You have your base damage, you have your percent chance to hit, and you have your crit rate. Damage is simple, does the number it says. Hit is the chance you have to hit. 100's the best, 0's the worst. Don't hit someone if your chance is 0. It's just a waste of time. And it wastes uses of your weapon even if you miss. Crits deal, depending on the game, double to triple the damage. Some classes rely on crits in order to actually deal damage, while other classes, it's a nice little bonus that you get, but you don't want to expect to happen. The other thing to note is the up and down arrows next to the weapons. That is part of what is known as the weapon triangle, which is the first of two major things that Fire Emblem is known for. It is not in every game, but it is in a lot of the more popular games. Swords, including rapiers, swords beat axes, axes beat lances, and lances beat swords. Anytime you go up against an enemy with a weapon advantage, you will deal 1 or 2 more damage typically, if not more. You'll get plus 10 to 20% hit chance, and your enemy will lose that much. So if I was attacking with, say, another axe, the soldier here would have roughly a 49% chance to hit me, and probably deal closer to 10 or 11 damage. That is part of why you need to build a balanced army, because otherwise you will not have the effectiveness to properly defeat and wall out enemies. The experience is self-explanatory. 100 experience equals a level up. Erica, why are you so weak? It's gonna take an extra hit just to down this guy, because she has so little strength at the start. Up, crit! That's crit number 1. One nice thing about the GBA games, this happens in all games, but GBA sprites add a lot of flair to it, is that you tend to get an extra animation or so played when you do get a crit. Miss. A second crit in a row. Erica, are you trying to, like, make me be nice to you? Is that what this is? Now, I'm not going for any turn records here. There are systems that will grade you at the end of the game based on how quick you play and stuff like that. But that's not really what I go for in a game. I was hoping to get to that forest first. As you see at the bottom left, terrain is a factor. In this case, it would give him an extra 20% chance to dodge and an extra defense point, meaning it's even harder for Erica's small strength to get him. So all I can really do is lure him out. Thank you, Mr. Inspiring Leader O'Neill. Miss. Hit. He is fast enough that he doesn't get doubled. Which is something I suppose I should explain. Your speed stat determines if you hit an enemy once, twice, or if they get to hit you twice. I believe the difference needs to be 4 speed. So in this case, her speed is 9, his speed is 7. 2 difference. Which means that he's just fast enough to avoid getting outspent. Yeah, just a little poke. The reason I am waiting to attack and letting him go first is because if he hits me on my turn and then hits me on his turn, I would die. This way, if he hits me, I can heal up if needed. Because as you see, that hurts. With that being said, I am not going to heal because I am guaranteed to hit with the 100% hit chance. But if I'd attacked last turn, I would have been at risk for dying there. Goodbye, Chapter 1 enemy. Not even Chapter 1, this is Prologue. I think. Prologue or Chapter 1. One thing important to note there is you saw my stats go up at the end of the turn. These are not set in stone. Every stat a character has a % growth. Meaning when you level up, the game essentially rolls the dice with those % odds for you to actually gain that specific stat. Characters like Erica, for example, are less likely to get strength and more likely to get skills like speed. This means that depending on how many times you play the game or when you play the game, you could have completely different runs featuring the same character, because sometimes they'll just get growths that they don't in the other run. Yeah, this game is what's known as a strategy RPG. It is a bit more in-depth than a standard RPG such as like Pokemon or Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy for most people. The other thing that this game series is infamous for, even though they've lightened up a bit in recent entries with options, this game series is known... Oh, achievement! This game is known for its permadeath system. If an enemy kills one of your units, unless it's a lord which forces a game over, you do not get that unit back unless you restart the chapter from the beginning. That unit is gone, and the game proceeds as if they were never there. Needless to say, a lot of players play this game and reset every time they let someone die. Especially if it puts them in a bad scenario to lose that specific unit that they've built a lot of time into, and experience, and resources. Achievement. Nice. Just like cheese slices or like string cheese or what? Ah, nice. Yeah, I've done that before. I won't act like I'm better than that. I am not better than that. Bruh, you had a 1% chance to crit there. You didn't have to do him like that. That's just a default dog expression, Matt. They just come built like that. So this lady here is Tana, Princess of Frelia, the country we are trying to escape to. She's also one of Erica's childhood friends. Yeah, it sounds like dogs, alright. Yeah, Grana's doing that thing that video games like to do, where the one evil country decides to invade every country at once, ignoring how terribly that goes in actual history. Yeah, Erica is very much the protagonist who is wide-eyed, innocent. I want to protect everyone. Please no one get hurt unless they have to. She's very much an idealist. Luckily for her, Seth's a pushover because she's the protagonist. So, the main thing to note for this chapter is that we do not have just axe users like we did last chapter. We do have a couple. We have fighters, which are the base game axe class. But we also have some soldiers. And soldiers have lances that are strong against Erica. At least going by the weapon triangle. Same for the boss. Yeah, the sprites do be a little goobery sometimes. My plan for the start of the chapter is usually to put Seth over here. He has no weapons, so he cannot kill anyone. But he's also on a fort, which provides defense, a dodge chance, and it heals him a bit every turn. Gonna move Erica over to this house because it is the safest area I can get to. Houses occasionally give you items or money, but it's very rare. Usually they just provide lore and or specific backstory bits. This guy's advice is basically warning you, hey, the general's on a spot that protects him, allows him to dodge attacks easier, and heals him at the end of a turn. Two chapters in a row with the Lucky Day quote from the bad guys. As you can see, enemies are really eager to attack units who don't have weapons on them. Even if their odds are not really great. Luckily for us, we are not going to be alone. I don't know if you were here when this happened, but Seth sent out Franz for help, and this is some of the help he brought back. Also got one of the most well-known songs in the Fire Emblem series going right now, Together We Ride, which is kind of like their triumphant, confident theme. Hero theme. So, just like that, our party expands from 2 members to 4 members. We have Franz here. He's essentially our first cavalier. They are units with horses that allow them to move farther. As a result, they have a greater base movement, like they can move more spaces by default, but they do get slowed down more by terrain such as desert, sand, and forests. They also are weak to certain types of weapons, such as Erica's rapier. He starts with a sword and a lance, although they're both not the best grades. E and D. The D being nice at least. On the other hand, we have Gilliam here. Gilliam is a knight from the country of Frelia. Knights are somewhat the opposite of cavaliers. They have really decent defense, in this case it's only 9, but it is good for a level 4 unit. But by God, this guy is slow. And by God, this guy is slow a different way. These guys are good walls against specific physical units. But if he gets attacked by something with armor effectiveness, or if he gets attacked by a magic, heaven forbid, he ain't gonna be able to do crap. Starts with an iron lance and a C in lances, which is the highest grade we've seen so far from a non-promoted unit. Now then, even with all these new reinforcements, we do not have anything that is super effective against lances. We can just use our own lances, which are normal. Oh. Yeah, we got 2 new units. Franz, a cavalier, and Gilliam, a knight. Cavs, fast and weak to certain weapons and terrain. Knights, defensive wall, very slow, don't touch them with magic or they blow up. Gonna equip the lance instead of the sword so the soldier doesn't see me as an easy target. Yeah, you guys keep attacking stuff there, buddy. That'll work out well for you. Gilliam looks like he would kick someone's ass because he probably does it on a daily basis. But yeah, he doesn't have a great dodge chance, but as you can see, it does not matter. This thing will not be able to scratch him. Look how heavy this guy is. It just chinks off him. And then I am going to switch to a sword here, even though it's a lance guy, because the 2 guys below me are axe users, and the sword will help against them. And these guys just don't want to attack her. They just want to keep swinging at Seth. This guy has a different idea and wants to try attacking Franz. He does hit the coin flip, but he takes a good beating in return. Hit. Hit. Yeah, there's my worry. These guys are able to hit Gilliam decent considering his defenses, but it's mostly because of the weapon advantage. Gilliam does kill on the 70% hit chance here, though. Right now I'm doing something very simple. I'm creating a low wall here so that Erica can heal her stupid butt up. The Brigand here cannot get through to Erica, which is good, because if so, he has a 30% to kill her and make me restart the chapter. I do not want that. Yeah, keep swinging, buddy. You'll hit him. You'll hit him. You got this. Woo! You mean where the boss is? Or are you talking about the low forts? The tiny forts? Yeah. They do be kind of goofy. Alright. Let's move you over into a better spot to get hit by shit. That way Erica can move in here and take him out. But level up again. I'm going to take the moment to pause the game here and explain what each of the 8 stats do. Level, as you see at the top, is self-explanatory. You go up to level 20, and then you have to promote if you want to level up any more. Hit point is how much damage you can take before you die. Strength is how much attack is added onto your weapon's mount in order to deal damage. Skill determines your accuracy and your chance to get critical hits. Speed determines if you are fast enough to double someone or avoid getting doubled. Remember that it is a difference of 4 that determines whether you are faster enough to double. Luck reduces the chance of getting critical hits on you. Defense is simple. You subtract that from whatever your opponent's attack is to determine how much damage you get. RES is resistance. That's the same thing, but for magic attack. And then con is your constitution. Constitution determines 2 things. How easy it is for other units to pick you up. If your constitution's smaller, you can be picked up by a heavier unit. But the higher the constitution, the heavier the weapon you can hold before it starts to lower your speed stat. If Erica, with a constitution of 5, holds a weapon with a weight of 7, her speed would go from 11 to 9, as an example. Pay attention, there will be a test. Yeah, you take that 45% chance of nothing. Well, someone finally hit Seth. If only it did damage. Oh right, I forgot. This game likes to do reinforcements. Get used to it. Yeah, have you been studying? Yeah, how's that going for you, buddy? Does take the damage, it's only 2. Takes damage this time because he's not on the fort with its 2 defense. Franz gets the 91% and a level. Oh, you're losing? Sorry to hear that. Ah. I don't know if you're watching, but that was one of the examples of this game's luck. When you get very few rolls going your way, you can have levels like Franz just did, where you only gain 1 stat. Needless to say, you don't want to have 1 stat level ups. Goes for Franz, gets a miss, gets whacked in return, and gets doubled for a 1-hit KO. Good job, Franz. The enemies rapidly approach Erica's location. Vulneraries are essentially this game's potions. Restores 10 hit points. Each one has 3 uses before it gets discarded. Alright, 15% chance. Miss. Hit. Hit. That's 1 kill. And a weapon level up, meaning she can use stronger weapons like iron swords. This one hits because it's weapon triangle advantage. But he still dies in 2 hits. Because she had enough accuracy to hit him. Missed the 15 there. And unnecessary crit. Woo! And level 4. Hit points and speed. Yeah, that's an Erica level, alright. Have her heal up a bit just in case I need her to go against the boss. Now this guy here is pretty tanky, because he's also a knight. But he also has the fort advantages to keep him safe. Gilliam is basically an even match against this guy, while Franz can deal up to 2 hits if he's lucky, but also takes a bit of a beating. Best thing to do is to try and plunk Gilliam in front of him right now. Well, one of us is going to have to change. Hit the 59. And they hit the 76. I don't plan on having him finish the fight, in case you're curious, but... especially when this guy's healing 2 hit points a turn. Hit. Hit. As you can see, this is a bit of a losing fight, mainly due to the fort. If he was not on the castle gate, Gilliam could probably win this one eventually. But since he can't, there's dialogue. Let's get some dialogue out of the way here. It's really not needed, it's just more backstory. Well, listen, I like to have faith in you sometimes. You can't see it, but I stuck my tongue out at you. do you mean help? What do you need help with? I can't help you with your Rocket League game if that's what you're referring to. Effective weaponry, let's go. Hit. Bad hit. And KO. Oh, need to give you like a multi-screen setup or something? Yeah, I'm afraid I'm not technologically knowledgeable enough to do that sort of thing. But yeah, when it says Seize Gate, that means Erica or a Lord character has to go onto the tile the boss was on and seize it to end the chapter. As long as you're here, I'm appreciating it for the record. You don't have to worry too hard about that sort of stuff. If anything, I'm just teasing you. Where'd your partner go? Did you just start the match being outnumbered, or? Losing by 5 goals is a lot, but I know it's not really a fair match at that point. Map! Woo. He abandoned you? Oh, I'm sorry. One of the downsides of playing a game like Fire Emblem is that it's medieval enough to where they make the speech very formal, which does mean you tend to get very few humorous lines, unless the character is specifically built to be laughed at or laughed with. There are some good lines here and there, but this isn't a game where I'm going to be laughing at every chapter's lines or something. I have seen you type. You have never talked to me in a VC or anything now, if that's what you're referring to. Sure, it sounds better than my voice. 0 to 8. Ouch. Yeah, I'm sorry, Erica. You're the protagonist. Protagonists are not allowed to have dads, unless they are vital to the plot. I'm sorry, Matt. I tried playing Rocket League once a long time ago, and it just never seemed like my thing. Even before it went free to play. I can't imagine how much worse it is now, considering that most of the people who stay on are probably people who try hard at the game and like grind day in and day out on it. Hey, not a shutout. 1 to 11 is better than 0 to 5, in my opinion, because it means you did something. You're not that old, Matt. One to 13. Ouch. Well, at least you're not a quitter. But yeah, that's painful, I can understand. Say hi to Mulder. And Gilliam, of course, but Mulder is just one of those characters where I'm just like, cool. Well, yeah, but a 1v1 is a lot different from a 1v2, so. It's not like I blame you for being outnumbered. I opened Drop as the game started, and now I have no idea what I got from it. Yeah, it do be like that sometimes. I'm never been the biggest fan of loot boxes. I put up with them in some games I've played, but I've never been excited for them. But yeah, we flee to this guy's country. Go to his castle, and when he says, "Please stay and be safe," we say, "No, fuck you, we want to go see our brother." And he gives us 5,000 bucks and 2 of his best soldiers. Bit demanding for a guest, I'd say, Erica. Got some important names being dropped here, but a lot of the importance doesn't quite hit yet. Why, you play Rocket League? Well, it's your game, not mine, so only you can really tell me. But I assume it's just for satisfaction of cars going flying and ball going in the net. It's kind of just like a primal thing. Little hits the neurons in your brain. An hour in, and we have finally completed the official chapter 1. You only play when super bored? Yeah. Now you see here, we do have a world map we can walk around in. Does this mean anything? No, not yet. It will, though. For now, though, we move on to the next chapter. Now then, we leave the safety of the castle and we head out basically straight for enemy territory, trying to find where her brother went. Go south from Frelia to enter a town near the Renee-Frelia border. Renee being part of her former country, needless to say, she's not appreciating the damage that they're doing to it. Yes, let's avoid running into the soldiers of the nation that has currently conquered the territory we're in. We'll definitely avoid any run-ins with them. Yeah, that's Mulder. He is part of the group that the king gave to protect us. Would you like to guess what his class is? But yeah, surprise, surprise. There's bandits here. In an abandoned country that's been taken over. Yeah, bandits are kind of a staple of early Fire Emblem games. Well, early game Fire Emblem. They're not exactly the most diverse when it comes to motivations. They do, however, have quite the noses on them, as you can see. Yeah, you can't do anything about that one. I wish my nose was smaller. Glad you get a small one at least. I feel like my nose is way too big. Yeah, this is where one of the tutorials would play, but I already kind of know what to do, as you would expect. So, this is a tutorial for a few things. First off, you have villages. Unlike houses, villages are much more important to get to. If you get to one, you either get an item or you get money. But you will almost always get something from visiting a village or town. Once you reach a town, it closes off so that no one else can enter it. However, if a bandit or pirate or similar classes reach a village first, the village is destroyed, and you do not get the item that it was going to give you. Do not let bandits reach the villages if you can help it, in general. Now, earlier, during Chapter 1, I mentioned the importance of Constitution. First off, let's go over some of our new units. We have Vanessa, who is a Pegasus Knight. Pegasus Knights are flying units who are not affected by terrain. This means that they do not get slowed down, but it also means you do not get any defensive boosts or avoidance boosts from standing on a fort, a forest, or a mountain. They have high resistance to magic damage, but anytime you get hit with a bow from an archer, or just any bow weapons in general, they deal triple damage. Do not let your Pegasus Knight near an archer unless you want a dead Pegasus Knight. Rule number 1. Anyways, Vanessa here has an aid stat of 15. This means that she can rescue the hurt little boy with a constitution of 8. Our second new unit today is Mulder. In case you did not guess, he is a priest, or our healer. To put it simply, do not put this guy in a fight. He will not attack, and he will likely die in 2 hits, if that. Priests use their magic stat and add it to the power of their staff in order to determine how much you heal. A heal staff, the starting one, heals 10 hit points plus magic. So since Mulder has a healing stat, a magic stat of 4, he will heal 14 hit points to whoever he heals. So what we do is we carry little boy green over here, bring him over here. Of course you'd be interested in the guy's mustache. Frickin' goober. You can see here these horses are a bit restricted running through all these forests to start. Now while we're waiting for these guys to come over, let's visit the villages and see what they got. So that village is now safe, and we have an elixir, which is essentially a potion, but a lot better. Do not use them unless you need them. Erica, please learn how to lie. You're not very good at it. That being said, it is very good that Erica decided to lie, considering this village just so happened to have a general of the opposing army. Good thing she doesn't know, right, guys? Right? Surely she has no idea. Especially with Erica's great acting. Erica, please. Learn to lie. But yeah, she literally just gives you a gem you can sell. She lies worse than the kids I work with. Is that a compliment to the kids lying? Or an insult to Erica? I think I know, but like, Insult to everyone. Got it. Anyways, the red gem here that we just got from totally not an enemy general is basically useless in battle. It's just something you sell for money. So, good for that. Anyway, Mulder, time to do your job. So we do that, and we bring Erica up. It's not always the same, but 9 times out of 10, if you have a character like this, you can recruit them by talking to them with your lord. yes, the son of the great Garcia. I too watch WWE, kiddo. So, new unit. Say hello to Ross. He is a journeyman. This is one of 3 units in the game that is essentially baby. They level up quickly, and once they reach level 10, they will, item free, promote into one of 2 classes. Essentially, these guys start with, as you can see here, garbage stats. Absolute garbage. For the most part. But with investment, you can build them up more because they have an extra 10 levels to level up. And typically really good growths. Alright, Garcia, get over here. Alright, Ross, first job, talking to your dad. Do you think they have that family resemblance going on? Or do they just color coordinate their clothing? I do hope Ross never ends up getting the nose Garcia does, though. Because that do be quite a schnoz. Yeah, once you get to a certain point in the game, you start getting achievements for unlocking units. So we just unlocked an achievement for finding Garcia. This is a fighter, which is one of the 2 classes Ross can promote into when he stops being a baby. Fighters are essentially what you've been seeing from the enemies we faced last chapter, the basic axe class. Axes are the strongest of the 3 weapon types, but they tend to have the worst accuracy, and their users tend to have a lower speed stat, usually. He has a hand axe that can be thrown from a range of 2, and he has a stronger iron axe for close-up combat. He also starts with a C in axes, unlike his son starting with an E. It's not too important here, but he is also, these 2 are also our first axe units, which are going to be our preferred answer to lance users, like the soldiers from last chapter. Ah, I forgot I still had a lance on. As you can see, the lance lowered his hit chance and it caused a miss. Oh, hi there, other bandits. Nice of you to just crawl out of the mountain. Was it comfortable in there? I think they were supposed to come out the side of the map, but it does feel like that. Didn't you know that's how bandits are born? You just plant them in the winter and they come out in the spring. Anyways, let me bring Mulder down here to heal Franz from my stupidity. Yeah, I know, right? Here is a fun fact about how much Fire Emblem used to hate its players. Up until Fire Emblem came out in the USA, the first 6 games had reinforcements spawn, and then they could move and attack you before you could even react to them. So these guys would have been able to just come over here and whack him without me being able to do anything, if this was an older game. Let's equip the sword this time. God-awful hit odds. God, I hate axe users sometimes. He can get a kill. Come on, Ross. Woo! But yeah, like you see, he gained about twice the amount of experience a normal unit would have gotten from that. Going to equip the Iron Axe for better hit odds. Probably not going to end the best, though. Luckily, the bandits are in the mountains and they can barely fucking move. He does get the 30% hit on Erica, which sucks. But she does leave him weak enough for Ross to pick off, probably. Level up. Nice. She got strength. That is probably the hardest stat to grow if you're using Erica. Alright. What to do this chapter? Well, this turn. Level up. Level. Stats. Things to note. These bandits are still on the mountain, so they're going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. First off, let's get Franz over here and have him cut down this archer, because this guy will shoot Vanessa out of the sky if he gets a chance. We don't want that. Archers cannot attack up close unless they have a specific bow, which means Franz gets a free kill. He will have to deal with this bandit up here next turn, but he has the weapon advantage, so it shouldn't hurt too bad, and he's out of range of the other one. Now then, Ross. 2 kills. Let's go, buddy. Level up. Watch the stats. Let's see if we get a good one. 4 up. Not all the stats I would have liked him to get, but it is better odds than you would get normally. And we get the last village. He gives us something known as a pure water. This is not something that matters this chapter, but it is a item that temporarily gives you resistance against magic attacks. You need a more comfy spot to sit? Feel free to move around if you need. It's your house, buddy. Alright, Mulder. You can heal Erica. Since healers do not get... Your ass bone hurts. Nice. Since healers do not get experience from fights, you have to heal whenever you see a fucking chance to heal someone. Because this guy needs to heal. Oh, no worries. Take your time. Take your time. Miss the coin flip and get the kill. Nice going, Franz. Level up. Get more than one stat. More than one. More than one. 4. I'll take it. Heck yeah. Axe versus axe. Miss the 60. Hit the 80. Nice. I will take it. And then another guy comes around but doesn't get close enough. Hit. Hit. He does have a decent amount of hit points though, so he should be able to take another hit or two. Can Ross get a third kill? With a crit, he sure fucking can. Nice going, buddy. Gilliam coming up here to take point. Javelin misses. Try and pick him off. Slim sword won't work. Steel sword will. Slows her down, but she only needs the one hit for that. Gotta be efficient. Heal Franz since he's on the front lines. Alright. Miss the 26 on Franz. Hit once. And he's weakened. The other guy also goes for Franz and also has terrible accuracy. Misses. Hit. Alright, that definitely softens him up for me. Get some hits with Vanessa first, even though it does hurt her. She needs the experience any way she can get it. Get the healing done. Thank you, Mulder. Down to 1. And a miss. Gotta love accuracy shenanigans. And Ross gets the kill. Another level up. Woo! Goodbye, Bone. 1 full level worth of experience. And Ross gets 3 stats. Okay, I guess. Seth reveals he does indeed watch WWE. He is aware of the Great Garcia. Actually, he was a troop commander in their forces. So they both were in the service together. Although not at the same time. He's like, dude, do you even know how strong I am? Have you seen my Call of Duty rank? Seriously though, buddy, I had to hand feed you kills. You are not good yet. We'll get you there, hopefully. Bazba. Bazba. Flashback time. Yippee! You can tell because they used the designated flashback filter trademark. Don't they look so much younger in these totally not the same sprites? Oh, right, I forgot you interrupted this cutscene. Hi there, pretty boy. Welcome back, Matt. You just missed some cutscene talk. And like a flashback of Erica explaining why she wants her brother to teach her to fight. And then this guy just rolled up and stole her bracelet. He is very insistent that she gets back her bracelet. Enough to detour the entire story for a bit, even though we are currently at war. Thus leading us to our next chapter. I mean, at least it was in the direction we were supposed to go anyway. The Buzz Bandits. Buzz ba. Buzz ba 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 ba. Bandits of Borgo. We just fought them last chapter, Erica. You've had a day or two to get used to the idea. It's what happens when countries go to shit, girl. Baby. Erica, we just went through a chapter with bandits, and we just spent days traveling to a bandit stronghold. You know why the village is gone. Case in point. The potatoes who grew legs? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, she's like, calms my, the girl here would be on Facebook and she'd put a relationship status as it's complicated. Yeah, do be complicated. My man hearing through at least 3 walls. Dude's got ears as big as his nose. Alright, so. Chapter start. First off, we have one new unit. This is Nemi. Nemi, however you want to say it. She's an archer. As I mentioned last chapter, these things will fucking kill anything in the air. If they can hit. The downsides to Archer, however, is that they do not have any way to defend themselves if they get attacked up close. If you have an axe guy, if you have a sword guy, if you have a lance guy, anyone get up in her face, she will fucking eat that sword and die in 2 hits. Do not let anyone get through to her. Now then, let's get started. Now these guys can attack us if they go around, but these walls here have 25 hit points, as you can see in the bottom right corner. If you deal enough damage to a wall, it will break and you can walk through it. Is there anyone here who can deal enough damage? The answer is no. That being said, we do have characters who can shoot through the wall. And yes, you can shoot over it or through the wall. Do not ask how bows work indoors. They just do. Bop. Well, doors do exist in this game, just we have a method for dealing with them. Now then. This here is Colm. Colm is 2 things. 1, he is the guy that Nemi is trying to save from doing anything stupid. As you can see, he is a thief, which means that he has the ability to open doors and treasure chests without needing a key. He uses a lockpick instead. The other thing this guy is this is the motherfucker who took Erica's bracelet. Yeah, I hear you, strong arm. When I said their relationship is complicated, I mean I don't like him and how he talks to her. I'm sure it's supposed to be some sort of, oh, he actually cares for her in his own weird sort of way thing, but it just comes off as him being rude. I do not like Colm. I will use him, but not because I like him. He is a thief, as I mentioned before. He has decent speed, decent luck, and the defenses of a paper bag. If you get these guys onto terrain that can help them avoid stuff, like for example these pillars, They can be good at dodging attacks, especially from axes. But do not let him get hit or surrounded, heaven forbid. Much like your healer, much like your bow user, he will die in 2 hits at most. Ha. Level up. Ross! I've been talking you up and you give me that shit? Buddy. Bruh. But yeah, I'm gonna put Franz up here with his sword. As kind of a deterrent. I will get Matt into position to steal chests, because if we do not, this thief will take the stuff instead. Now you can shoot over walls and you can throw axes through walls, but no, you cannot fly over the walls. As unfortunate as that is. Win the coin flip. Hit. And then we can bring Nemi up and around. Up! Got a follower from someone with a rather interesting name. Hello there. How are you doing today? I hope you don't mind if I just call you Noise. But regardless, thank you for following. Nemi, you can't even kill this. I'll at least have Ross finish this guy up first. Got a door key, which is essentially, hey, I don't have a thief, and I still need to get through the door. Give you a couple shots here. Probably gonna take a hit here. You don't. Nice dodging, Vanessa. Anyways, let's just go ahead and help ourselves. Got an iron lance. Not bad. Heal up Franz up here. Gotta get Mulder his experience. Sorry, just checking something. Right now our main goal is to get all the treasure chests in this level and make sure nothing dies to anything stupid, which is something I am very prone to doing. Go ahead and get our wall out here, in case anyone shows up. Now this door is closed for right now, but once this thief moves up here, if he decides to, then he will let the other soldiers through with him. I'm doing wonderfully. I finally caught one of your streams. Hello there, again, thank you for following. I am going to call you Noise as long as that's okay with you. Do I know you from somewhere, or did you just happen to stop on by? move around here. Got a hand axe, i.e. what Garcia has. Less accurate than an iron axe, but it can shoot from 2 range, which is nice. Ross, you're taking forever to get here. I'm going to take the door key and start moving with someone a bit faster. Thank you very much. Let's see if anyone wants to take pot shots at Seth through the door. From the Discord, you've been to my house. Is that you, Cat? No, yeah. No, I've only been to the old... No, that... Cat, I've been to the new one, not the old one. Hmm. Into your old house. Yeah, this is Matt. He's one of my friends on Discord. But yeah, I'm trying to remember who all's moved houses recently in our friend group. Struggling with it more than I probably should. Last chest here is an iron sword. Your Twitch is linked to your Discord, huh? Give me a moment, then I gotta check all our friends' Discords. Oh, it's B. Well, listen, I wouldn't want to accuse someone of being that name and be like, oh, what do you think that means about me? Why would you assume that that's my name? You know? Got someone else in here. Nice, nice. But yeah, it's nice to see you, B. I'm currently playing Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. Yeah, sure, comedy. We'll call it that, buddy. Right now, everyone's just kind of piled outside this door waiting for Colm to frickin' open the thing. Well, thank you for showing up. I've been trying to stream every day around the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Sometimes it changes, or sometimes I can't stream if I have other commitments or something. But I've been trying to keep it consistent. For example, tomorrow is going to be my Ring Racer stream, and the day after that is going to be my Superstar Saga stream, where I do all my stupid voices. Doors open. And Ross is finally into the main room, you slowpoke. Now then. Gotta bring Matt through here, so... Well, Colm through here, so you can open the door. Getting my names mixed up in my head. good God. Now then. The main thing to note is that whoever I fight send up here will get attacked by the bandit and the bow wielder. Okay. But yeah, usually I stream every day at 11 a.m. if I can, so as long as you remember that time, if you're awake, you can check and see if I'm streaming. Or you're free to DM me since you're one of my friends. That low hit chance. And a crit! Let's go, Erica! Just freaking snap that guy out. I forgot they have a support. I'll explain that next turn. Let's go ahead and bring Franz up and around here. He has a sword, so he is super effective against these guys. I will say this is probably the stupid mistakes that I referred to before. That will come and bite me in the butt. But we'll see how it goes, I guess. Alright, Franz. Okay, he dodged. We should be good. And he doubles. Let's go. Almost to a level up. Next combat will be a level, probably. Not the best combat. Vanessa did have the weapon triangle disadvantage there. The bow hits, but he's weak as frick. The other axe, on the other hand, misses. Thank you. And we do get the level there. Franz, please get some decent levels. That's 2 out of 3 bad levels I'm pretty sure you've gotten. Hey! Yeah, that's the other thing about thieves, in case you didn't notice. If their speed is higher than yours, which in this case it's 9 versus 7, they can steal both items in your inventory. In this case, they stole one of my potions. So I'm gonna frickin' smack him. Although I'd really like something stronger. Wait a moment. No, it's the Silver Lance. That ain't gonna do shit. Because you don't have the rank required to use it. Alright, now then. Meanwhile, I've got to kind of be careful with Vanessa back here, otherwise she'll get killed by that frickin' bandit. Let's get you out of the way. And bring another thief in. Bruh. Welcome to combat, Colm. Frickin' 2% crit chance. But yeah, B, I already explained a lot of the rules of how Fire Emblem works to Matt. I'm sure he's forgotten half of them by now, so if you need anything explained, feel free to ask. Supports are conversations that you can have with you reach a specific amount of turns next to each other, or if they have predetermined supports at certain times in the game. Getting supports with specific characters basically means that they will have better stats when they're standing next to each other in combat. Call me, you just got a crit. Don't make me hate you again. Yeah, C support, we're getting closer. You literally made her cry. Hate this guy so much. Such a gentleman. Support up! Woo! Literally just made her cry. Get the hit. Hit. And unnecessary crit. Woo! Get our first Vanessa level. Pretty dang good. 5 stats. Let's go. And a chest key, so she can open the chest down there without the thief's help. Colm does take a whack from the archer, mainly because of his worst defenses. But luckily, he's fast enough and dodgy enough to not care about the guy with the axe. Now let's have Vanessa open the chest. Gets another javelin. Nice going. Let's get Naomi a kill here. Bop! Then he's fast enough to double the archer. 1 hit, 2 hits. And then we'll have Mulder heal him up. Level up for Colm. We really want speed more than anything else. I should have been more specific. But sure. Anyways, give him a heal from Mulder, the mustache man. Go ahead and drop Gilliam over here. Final 2 enemies up here will not move until you enter their range. So we're gonna bait them out with Gilliam here. Set up a literal wall. Garcia and Vanessa will work together to tear down the wall here so she can get through quicker. Mulder will heal Franz up so he can be back up for this. Almost so level up. Alright. And then Franz will be ready for next turn. Sword guy comes up. Cannot scratch the knight. Even when he hits twice. 2 times 0 is still 0, buddy. Nami gets another free kill here. Almost a level from it. And then the last guy here has a steel axe and a hand axe, so he can still attack you if you're an extra space away. That being said, he does have to switch to it, so it does take him a turn. It's also why I'm going to be careful in spacing out my units, though. Because as you see, he will not move off his throne. Which, to be fair, I don't blame him. It's 30 avoid and 3 defense. But still, come on, buddy. So I'm going to try and take this guy down in 1 turn. If it doesn't work, I will have to bring in Seth to rescue her. That's 1 hit. Alright, calm. As you can see, he's dodgy. If he gets hit, he's pretty much dead meat, but... Missed the 83, missed the 28, hit the second 83. Next up is Erica. We'll see how much she can deal. The Slim Sword does jack shit. Mainly because this guy has 5 defense plus 3 from the throne. She can hit him more with a steel sword, but her accuracy goes down from 100 to 77. And her dodging goes from a 26% chance to hit to a 36. Her rapier does almost as much, but we want to save uses of that if we can. Hit. Miss. Hit. What? Sorry. Just had a little issue there. Go ahead and have him heal her. So close to leveling up, buddy. Alright, Franz. Don't let me down. Thank you. Yeah, the mighty Bazba. Maybe in the next life you'll pick a better name. And like I said before, anything you have to seize, Erica has to be the one to seize it. Almost apologized, and then he just reveals he doesn't want her to cry. god, I want to punt you through a wall. Like one of those fucking hand axes or bow shots. The fact that he does all of this in like an effort to get something that means a lot to her by itself is nice. But I still don't forgive... Still can't forgive him for how he talks to her. Case in point. Please get some tact. Or something. And also, he still stole something from Erica. Oh yeah, you're not familiar with the Fire Emblem series, are you? This is a strategy RPG series. Each character is a specific unit, and if they die, they do not come back. They are gone forever. The only exception is the Lord character. Oh yeah, I guess you've played some of the newer one of the newer ones. Yeah, this game does not have the option to revive units, no casual mode or anything like that. If your unit dies, the only way to get them back is to restart the entire dang chapter. This game is the second game to come out in the USA, after the original Fire Emblem, known in Japan as Blazing Blade. If you fuck up, you fuck up, unless you're willing to restart the entire chapter, yes. Which can usually mean anywhere from like 10 minutes to an entire hour worth of progress. Overall, in like the series history, this is probably one of the lesser known games, especially out of the ones in America. Just because it doesn't have any representation in Smash Bros. Or any representation out of like the more famous series. It's one game by itself with no connected universe to it. That being said, I always did like this one when I was getting into the series, so I decided to play it first. The main thing to know about the plot of this game is it's pretty generic, but one of the nations decides to do the brilliant wartime strategy of invading every other nation at once. Fuck you all, I can take you all on by myself. Erica is from Renee, a country that pretty much immediately got taken over, because they were unfortunate enough to be the guy's neighbor. Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. This game is one of the few games, before Three Houses even, to have multiple Lord characters. We have Erica, and we have her older brother Ephraim, who we'll get to see in a chapter or two. Unless it's right now. It might. No. This is just, this is the bad guys. Out of them, the only person we have seen so far is the girl on the right, Celine, because she was in one of the villages we saved in the second chapter. Although, luckily, she did not recognize Erica. Even though Erica was god-awful at lying. Yeah, these guys question what their leader is doing, but not enough to actually stop fucking up. He abhors violence, we say, after completely destroying one country and trying to invade a second. Like, sure, buddy, I believe you. We will not question his intentions, we say after having a conversation about questioning his intentions. This here is the king of GLaDOS. The, Grotto? GLaDOS. I'm like, why the fuck am I thinking of Portal? Anyways, King of GLaDOS. This is the nation invading Renee and Frelia. Totally talking like a peace-loving guy like they just described him. So you have the people who were kind of suspicious about his motivations, and then he just brings in these three new guys. And as you can tell, these guys are just the best. Totally most trustworthy people around. Guy with a mole on his nose and sore yellow skin. Guy with blood in his nickname. Kalek. Dude reminds me of the Team Magma guy. Nice. Got a guy who immediately starts hinting that he's gonna hit on this girl. which is just lovely. And then we have Walter, who was one of the people who attacked the castle where Erica and her family stayed at. And one of the people who led the charge that killed her father. So, we already know this guy. And we already know he's kind of a scumbag. Well, I'm glad someone's got some spirit. Glenn here is the first guy to actually speak out against this shit. But Duessel's like, no. So Lena and Kalik are being sent to Frelia, the nation up north that they are currently invading, and that we first went to when we ran away from our castle. And of course he sends the guy who commented at the lady with the lady. Reeve and Dussel are going to be staying in Grotto, defending their empire. Reply given with a totally not evil laugh. And then Walter gets stuck with the guy who just called him scum. These guys are specifically sent out to search for the princess, because she escaped them. Her and her brother. My bad. Alright. And with that, I think I'm good to wrap up the stream now for today. I'll save, and then I'll hit the ending block, and then I'll send you on your way, either to another streamer if you would like to raid someone, or just close the stream if you'd rather take a rest from it. Right now, it looks like you are currently the only one in the stream, B. Would you like me to send you somewhere, or would you like me to let you go? Cool with just going? Alright. Then, as a friendly reminder, this is Ozokrit. Thanks everyone who did show up, and I'll be streaming tomorrow at the same time, 11 a.m., playing Dr. Robotnik's Ring Racers, a Sonic fan game. And then, same time Sunday, 11 a.m., I will be doing Mario & Luigi's Superstar Saga, Stupid Voices and all. With that in mind, have a good day.